Evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Boy Blue and Bigby, and today we're talking about Jeff Lemire, the great writer and artist, and our creator spotlight, our first ever creator spotlight.
Yes, sir. First of many.
So, yeah, that's kind of about it. We're just going to talk about Jeff Lemire and sing his praises and why you all should be out reading his stuff if you're not already. So, the first one we have up is Descender
Yes,
by Image Comics.
yes. Descender is probably one of the funnest things I've read recently, just because of Driller.
Driller's a real killer.
Yes, yes, he is. So I haven't read as far as you have in Descender, so I only got to volume one, and it so far it started off really bizarre for me because I didn't know what to expect when you recommended it to me. You said, "Yeah, two thumbs up, Descender, Jeff Lemire," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I
I
like
didn't
how
think you're gonna.
that's my review. Yeah, two thumbs up. Jeff Lemire. Like that's
Yeah,
as good as they
yeah,
get.
because I don't remember you going into detail what it was about the first time you told me, and I was like, "Okay."
I
You just
don't
said,
think that's true.
"Yeah."
I remember sending you a message all about like the plot, and then you're like, wait, was that from like the back of the book? That was really good. I said, no, that was just me. So
Was
clearly
it?
I did a pretty good job.
I don't. Huh. Maybe it did. I'm drawing a blank at this point. I'm like, don't, I don't know. But if you say so, I mean, I'm gonna trust your word on
Yeah.
that, boy, Blue.
Well,
But
speaking of the plot, I feel like we should fill people in
yeah,
if you don't know. So Descender, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Dustin Nguyen, I think. Um, and his art is absolutely beautiful. It's all like watercolor, and
it really is.
basically it follows like it's the future. Um, there are different planets, that we've settled. There are different alien races, all sorts of stuff, and robots are used every day. They're kind of servants to mankind. And then one day, out of the blue, these giant, like planet-sized robots called harvesters just obliterate these cities and then disappear. So after that happens, people aren't too fond of robots anymore. Kind of rightfully so, I might add.
Mhm.
Well, maybe not rightfully, but I mean, after some giant robots blow up like a planet, I might be a little upset. So after that happens,
Just a little upset.
yeah, a robot called Tim. Is it Tim 23? Something like that.
Uh, yeah, something like that.
Tim 21 or Tim 23. I don't remember.
I think
But
he's 21.
yeah, but
Tim 21.
basically
Yeah.
he's a companion robot, so he's designed to be like a friend to kind of young kids, basically. Like, anyway, so he wakes up on uh, in this space station, unaware of what has transpired, and that is where the story begins, and it is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like the artwork alone is worth the attention. I don't think I've seen a watercolor novel like that before, and it kind of blew me away when I saw how it worked so well with this kind of story, with the giant robots just coming up and attacking everybody, and such and stuff happens in it, like the introductions of different species and the little Colosseum battle, and I thought it was really cool how he used the watercolor to define each little aspects of each character.
And what I like about it, and I think this is kind of why I like Jeff Lemire, and the more I read him, it's a science fiction story, but it's very much about the characters in there. I won't give away spoilers for everyone's sake, but suffice it to say, Jeff Lemire, he finds that sad, heartbreaking spot that all great Jeff Lemire things. He always
As
finds
you
that
know
spot.
later.
Yeah. Um, and he just writes moving stuff. I'm always moved by the stuff he writes, even if it's you know, a story about a robot. Um, he finds a way to make it personal somehow. So I dig it. I dig it. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire, Descender. I guess it is how I say it.
It really is. I agree with you on that part. How he draws you in to this robotic android kid, and you're just like, oh, he's a robot. He'll survive. But no, uh, I don't really want to see anything bad happen to this kid later on in the future run because I really uh I have a soft spot for like kid driven stories, and I cannot stand them getting hurt or threatened in any kind of way. And this one is pretty crazy when he runs into a gang of violent criminals kind of ordeal. I kept thinking, no, run away, kid, run away. And then he meets Driller, the real killer, and I was like, yeah, go Driller. Which is why I love Driller because his catchphrase.
Driller's a good character.
Yeah, he's also the real killer.
He is a real killer.
uh,
But yeah, I think I've read 3 of the volumes that are out, and I actually think I think it wrapped up in 6 volumes. I think I've just been holding out for the second hardcover that will complete the series. But I might just read it on Hoopla because I want to know what happens. So,
but find out if he's a real killer.
Yeah,
killing
exactly.
everybody else.
Fun fact though, another series, I guess, set in the same universe called Ascender has been announced.
What?
Yeah, all same team, Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. So, I think that'll be actually coming out either this year or maybe early next year, the first issue. So, I don't know.
Got to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah,
Ascenders. It's an interesting title. I mean, for Descenders.
it sounds like it's the opposite of
Everything's gonna be going uphill for this.
Yeah, I guess everything gets better. Maybe that's what it is. The first one is just everything is bad. And the second one's everything's great.
Starts off with robots giving out people planets and whatnot.
You have a planet. You have
just like Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone gets a planet. That sounds great. I hope that's what Ascender is about.
Descenders, a great read, folks. Again, I have to catch up on it. It's on Hoopla.
Yeah, I think the whole series is now on Hoopla, at least the first 5 volumes, and I'm sure they'll put the 6th one up here pretty soon if it's not up already.
Hoopla, folks, it's a great app. Check it out.
It is a great app. You can get it through your local library. So there's that. Free stuff.
And it's free. That's the main concern. It's free, folks.
Yeah. Free comics are better than comics that you pay for.
Yeah. Alrighty. So does that wrap up Descender? Because I don't just read the first. I just read the first one, so
I think so. I think if we talk about it anymore, I'll accidentally say something and everyone will be upset.
No spoil. This is a spoil-free book right now. I haven't read it.
I mean, I feel like after what did we spoil like a ton last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
This will be a spoiler-free episode.
just
So
for Descender. The rest, though, it's up for grabs. So, ladies and gentlemen, spoiler alert for the next few series that we're gonna be talking about, more or less.
all right, fair enough. I'm ready. Let's do it then.
Yeah. So the the next I guess the next universe we'll be talking about, because all these stories happen in one big universe of Jeff Lemire, and I really dig it. I really do. And again, you recommended this to me, all of them actually, and it's the Black Hammer universe, the whole shebang. Go Black Hammer. What was it? I'm gonna forget his name. Doctor Sherlock Frankenstein, and
And the Legion
then
of Doom.
the Legion of Doom, and then the I'm sorry, I forget his name. Doctor Star and the Lost
Oh
Tribe.
yeah, it's the whole title is weird. It's like
Yeah,
Doctor Star in the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows or
yeah.
something like
It,
that.
that title alone makes me feel like very sci-fi noirish, like what's that movie with Jude Law? I always talk about it. Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. That's
No,
what it
that's
feels
I
like.
like that
Yeah,
movie. That's a good
yeah.
movie.
It's a
Underrated.
yeah, it's a great movie. That's I feel Jeff Lemire should do a Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow book, because if anybody can do it, it's right up his alley. So I believe in Jeff Lemire doing one of those.
So Black Hammer for the uninitiated um, is it started off. I mean, as a story. I mean, like you're saying, it's become this whole universe, and um, basically, it's Jeff Lemire's superhero universe. So um, I remember reading the back of the first trade paperback of that back, like 10 or 15 years ago, whenever his career was first starting. He didn't think he would ever write for Marvel or DC because he just didn't think that would happen. So he wrote these stories about these other characters who are basically, rip-offs of Marvel and DC characters, and it's kind of got a golden age feel. Um, like the character he made, Golden Gale, is basically Shazam,
Yeah.
but female. Abraham Slam, kind of Captain America ish. Barbalian
Barbie,
is
Martian
Martian
the
Manhunter.
Manhunter.
But anyways, with all things Jeff Lemire, there has to be a twist and a farm. So um,
I
they
like that twist and a farm.
yeah. If you've read Gideon Falls, there's a farm in that, and Essex County. There's a farm. There's a farm. Actually, I'm surprised there's not a farm in Descender. Now that I think about
There
it.
might be. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe.
volume 4, 5, and 6. I mean,
Yeah. But anyways, the characters that he creates, they're fighting like this, evil bad guy called Anti-God, basically Dark Side,
and
or
Galactus.
Galactus, yeah, kind of combined. And while they're fighting him, they get like transported somehow to this farm, and they can't leave. There's like a farmhouse, and the surrounding area. There's like a little town, and they can interact with the people there. But if they go, a certain amount of feet outside of town, there's like a force field, and they'll die. So very strange. We still don't have answers why they can't leave and who put them there. Um, but somehow it's the most interesting thing I've read in like
It
a year.
really
I don't
is.
know.
It captures your attention.
Yeah.
It like takes it right out of the sky. And I mean, but each character have their own little twists and turns that they all got their own personal demons kind of thing. Like with Golden Gal, she reverts back to a little girl when she turns into a superhero, and she's like what, in her 50s right now,
Yeah, so
or
she's like 50, 5 or something,
yeah,
but her body is an 8-year-old, so
yeah, that's how her superpowers are. And what Barbalian was a nice twist, because I did not think it would I never thought, aliens ever had any kind of orientation to what sexual orientation they prefer, and Barbalian is has a very interesting backstory, and his current little run with the what is he priest
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of made it like a little bit more interesting for him, because I always thought like with Martian the Manhunter, I'm like, it's a Martian, he's not cool. There's nothing really interesting about him, and then Barbalian shows up, I'm like, huh, what an interesting twist they gave this guy.
Yeah. So I I completely agree. They all have their own thing that makes them more human, and I don't know, Barbalian especially, I feel like his journey and his story is it's very sad, it's very heartbreaking.
Mhm.
Um especially kind of where it's currently at. Actually,
Mhm.
Golden Gale is not that great either.
Yeah.
Kind of
she
both
she
have,
just wants to be an adult.
yeah, and I don't know, her the scenes where she's just like screaming I keep wanting to say Shazam, but whatever
Yeah,
the
the word
magic
was
word
that
is.
Zaphram.
Yeah,
Zaphram.
Zephram.
Yeah,
Yeah, when she's screaming that, just wanting to be her
herself.
age, yeah,
Yeah.
herself. I don't know. It hits me really hard, and then of course there's Abraham Slam who has fallen in love, in the
Oh,
town, and
yeah,
he doesn't get it. He's like, why can't we just stay here? Like,
yeah.
why are you trying to leave? And since we're spoiling everything, uh,
At this point,
yeah,
yeah.
at this point, I mean, I realize we're so into spoilers, but uh, the really crazy one, who's friends
Well,
with the robot,
Captain something. He he's from like the
it's like
dimensions.
Colonel Weird.
Yeah, Colonel Wisheke. Yeah, it's like
Colonel
Captain.
Weird. Yeah, man, his backstory is just heartbreaking too.
It is.
Um, with like him going through the parazone, and he tries to bring I think his fiance
Woman, his
through.
wife. Yes.
Yeah, and it just like destroys her, and he loses his mind. I mean,
I
goodness.
yeah. The saddest one for me is Madame Dragonfly. I mean, this woman who was trying to save her baby, because I think the baby was like sick or dying, one of the two. She goes and finds this cabin, like any horror movie starts out, a creepy cabin in the middle of nowhere, and the lady says, I could save your baby, but there's a price. You take over for me. She goes, okay. I think the baby ends up dying, and she ends up heartbroken, and she ends up, living on her own, secluded, avoiding everybody, when the townsfolk start noticing that there's kids are missing, and they obviously go to the creepy woman in the middle of the swamp, and turns out she had nothing to do with it, but she ends up killing the guys in self-defense, and she longs for companionship, so she creates her own swamp thing kind of person,
Right.
and she falls in love with him, and then she goes off and fights the dark side Galactus monster. And wherever she goes, the house goes with her, because that's the source of her powers. But sadly, her companion did not. He ended up dying, I think, on the way there to wherever
Right.
they're stuck at. And I
Yeah,
thought that was really heartbreaking.
and there's still a lot of mystery going on with her,
Mhm.
and I'm sure we'll get answers eventually. But I remember
Mhm.
when you're seeing all of that and how she's separated from her, like you at least say it's basically like Swamp Thing, like
Mhm.
her swamp companion lover.
Yeah,
Um,
husband, wife.
yeah. Uh, you see, there's like a panel where she's mourning. There's like a little burial mound or
Mhm.
something, and I think she was pregnant with
Oh, that's right. She
this
was.
child,
Yeah.
but lost it also, and they haven't explained that
Mhm.
yet because I think it says like some secrets are too dark,
Yeah.
like So I don't think the other characters know about that either. So I'm very intrigued. I keep waiting for an answer, and I haven't gotten one.
Yeah, none of us have. I'm
Yeah,
just excited to hear the rest of her story. And
yeah,
oh, geez.
and the thing is, like her and Colonel Weird are they're up to something. I don't know
Yeah,
quite know what it is. Because Colonel Weird straight up like shoots his robot
yeah, he does. TikTok.
talkie
No,
walkie.
walkie. Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
So
why
I
did I
don't
say
know.
TikTok?
There's a lot of mystery going on, and
Mhm,
obviously, like we said, heartbreak for all of the characters. But what I really like and what's kind of expanding everything is he's Jeff Lemire's gone beyond just
mhm,
that story. He's starting to write stories, spin-off stories about other characters that have kind of been in passing, um,
mhm.
and really making it a fleshed out universe. And what I like is he's the only writer.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're not going to retcon something. There's not going to be some change. It's like this is his thing. Um,
Mhm.
kind of the closest thing I can think of is Mike Mignola's Hellboy universe
Yeah.
because that's all written by him, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
for the
much.
most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Just every now and again, he invites different authors and artists to give their own ideas and whatnot.
Right. But for me, the most heartbreaking story is Doctor Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows.
Yes,
So heartbreaking.
it is. Did not see that ending. Well, obviously, there's going to be spoilers for this one because this one's such a great, a very great story, side story thrown in the same universe, and it's all. You see a few of the same characters pop in and out.
Right, right,
What was
right.
that? Abraham Slam shows up a lot in this one,
And Doctor
and
Star is in he's in Sherlock Frankenstein, another miniseries, like pretty briefly. Um
yeah,
so I just want to say if you haven't read Doctor Star, skip over this part, don't listen to it. It's only four
yeah,
issues. You don't need to have read the rest of the Black Hammer stuff. Well, I recommend you do, but if you just read four
mhm,
issues, you should go read that on Comixology or something, then come
yeah,
back because it's so wonderful,
it is.
but so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you ready to talk about it?
I'm
We're
ready.
gonna. Okay. So basically, he is a scientist. No, nothing real great. He just really super smart, and the government finds out that he's doing some amazing research, going to the stars, or trying to find what was it? The I forget what it is. Pretty much
Well,
trying to find
he's
like
trying to find the Parazone, right?
yeah,
The
yeah
same
that
thing as Colonel Weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he was the closest to it at first
Mm.
because they give him a whole bunch of money and he's like, okay, his wife's pregnant with their first kid. He's happy about that, but he keeps telling her that this is only temporary. Just think more money, more funding will be set for life kind of thing. And what he ends up doing becomes a basically what I think is a Green Lantern. That's the best
Yeah.
similarity I can come up with because he hits the what is it the parazone
Mm.
and he gets sent to a crazy place where he gets with the torch up. It's a torch, right? That he holds like a
Yeah.
lightning rod kind of torch
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
where he could go wherever he likes now, and he has some sort of superpower. He goes back and forth through the entire time while his wife's pregnant, gives birth. He misses out a few of the kids' uh, like important events like birthdays and whatnot, and he uh, he leaves a message out in the universe, and I somebody answers. He goes all the way telling his wife he'll be back. He doesn't come back for like years, not months, weeks. It's like years because the
It's like
planet he goes to.
It's like 18 or 20 years or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, because his kid grows up
Yeah.
and he misses out on the whole his whole life basically because he goes off fighting this giant dragon worm monster for this other planet, the other side of the solar system, and there's happened to be a black hole sitting next to that moon. And what he forgets is that time is altered a lot there. So when he gets back home, his wife is aged and he hasn't aged, and his son is in the army fighting in the war. I think it's the Korean War
Yeah,
or
it's either that
Vietnam.
or Vietnam.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. And he comes back trying to make amends to his son, and his son doesn't want to hear it because, you know, 20 some odd years, he comes back now, and it, it's a very strange thing to come back to if anybody had done the same thing as him. Just go, oh, black hole, oh no, 20 years gone by, it's not my fault. I mean, I kind of side with the kid and his mom at this point.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you learn that kind of gradually, but you see him uh currently, like, you see him and he thinks back on these things and he's like filled with all this regret, and you're trying to figure out, why, and you get those details, like, okay, that makes sense. But then you get the real bomb kind of dropped on you, and the fact is that his son is like on his
Spoiler
deathbed
alert.
now. Yeah, on his deathbed from cancer, and he just wants to make things right with his son or try to have some sort of relationship before he passes. And man, it's rough.
It is.
So rough.
It really is. Jeff Lemire, you have a great way to make us connect with these characters, especially with Dr. Star. It's just like it's in every man kind of scenario, every situation he thinks up for this character is just like, oh, hey, I could actually see this happening to, a person in real life, like a scientist in real life. If he had found a way to hit a whole different universe, this is exactly what I think the obsession would take over. Just like Moby Dick and the what's his Captain Ahab, like something like that. And I think he captured the obsession that scientists, the curiosity of them too, like thrown into this amazing story, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, when you're reading it, you're rooting for Dr. Star, but as you kind of
Mm-hmm.
peel back the layers, it's like, but wait, like that, it wasn't his fault, but
Yeah,
also wasn't right either.
yeah.
Like, um, I mean, just coming back after 20 years and expecting it to be the
Mm-hmm.
same. I mean, that's never going to happen. So,
Yeah. If we're gonna be real honest, I could kind of relate to the son a little bit
uh,
because my dad would always be working too growing up, so was my mom watching over us. So I guess this is why it hit so close to home with me, feeling like the son like neglected, and the mom and the dad like the mom was hating the dad. I'm not saying my mom did, but he always wasn't there for us when most of the important stuff like would come around because he'd be always working, making sure that we were taken care of with all the Christmas, birthdays, and all that stuff. But he would always be at work, so we rarely saw him from 9 to 5. He'd leave 6 a.m., come back 6 at night, working in the fields. And I guess once my mom had passed, my dad started his health kind of deteriorated,
mhm.
and then he like expected us to be like, oh hey, we're here for you, but in all our time we just like got busy with work, school, and all that stuff. So I figured I could relate to the son a little more in this case, in this story. And so when I started reading it, I was like, oh hey, I made that connection sort of immediately.
Uh-huh.
And then once the son got cancer, I was like, oh dang, I know what's gonna happen. He's gonna try to trade he's gonna try to finally be the good dad and try to he's gonna find a way to get the cancer away from his son because he's a scientist and put it in him. Uh, and so I was rooting for the dad at that point when he was found out his son. And then, like the third and fourth issue, it started getting darker and hurt a little more than I'd care to admit. And it was just so heartbreaking watching this kind of thing happen when you could relate to the characters at that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's and like what really got me and I don't know why, but just like when showing the son as a kid, like asking to go
Mhm.
with him,
Yeah.
you know, he just wants to like travel the stars, and then he finally like takes him when he's
Mhm.
dying. I was like, gosh darn it.
Yeah, it's a little too late. And he went back to the thing is with the dad, you knew he was trying when he went back to the same planet where he was
Yeah,
hoping they had a cure for something, and he went back there pleading, and they said, "Oh no, if we had the power," because they all based their police force, their whole civilization based on him being the hero, showing up out of nowhere, stopping a monster. They all took that to heart, and they all became justice of the peace, basically the Green Lantern, I think.
right.
And so he goes in there pleading to him, and they say they can't do anything. So he goes back home, and that's where it like uh, just like you, I'm pretty sure it broke your heart when he says, "If there was anything I could do for you," he says, "Take me to the skies." And I like broke down, and then you see him flying up there, and I think the sun had a smile on the way to the stars, and then he just passed in his dad arms, and I was like, "Oh God, damn you, Sean! Damn you, Jeff Lemire! Why would you do this to me?"
It's
Uh,
oh yeah. It's one that I think I mean, I'm gonna reread.
reread for
Yeah,
like, yeah.
reread that. You know, like it's not because I'm like I feel like being sad today, but like
All
it
the
is
stuff you
like
read is kind of sad.
yeah, it is such a I don't know, it's just such a well told story
Mhm.
and only 4 issues and I just when you were talking about I was trying to think of because you brought up you know, just like I mean he's a scientist and he's not there for
Mhm.
his kids. And just kind of that synopsis remind me of Black Science by Rick Remender. And Black Science is pretty good. I definitely enjoy it. I want to keep checking it out, but I feel like Jeff Lemire did in 4 issues. You know what Rick Remender is trying to do in like 30 or 40. And I don't know. It's just like that's such a talent. I think to
Mhm.
such a powerful
Yeah,
short story is pretty amazing.
yeah, he is a powerful writer. That's the kind of writer I would like to be. Like, I would like to have people just like him draw into these characters and root for them and say progress through and through and through, and then, cause you to feel either hatred or love or emotion, anything, as you're reading these amazing tales that he's writing. And I think he does a phenomenal job with Dr. Star and the long title of a name for a book for a four
Yeah.
issue miniseries.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because like I mean his other miniseries in Black Hammer's Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
And like that one was you got some backstory on you know,
Mhm.
the Black Hammer's daughter. But definitely I feel like probably the weakest series I think so far.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is.
and then I don't know, I guess when I saw Dr. Star in the world of Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows, I was like, okay, here's
Mhm.
another long title. Maybe it's a little uh goofier, and then just I was so wrong.
Yeah.
So completely wrong.
Well, it's great to be a to think like I think it's great when you read a title and you're like, oh, you read some of his stuff before and you're like, oh, this is good, this is better, and then you read the long title like, oh, I hope it's not a letdown like every other writer who hits the wall after they hit a certain a certain number of issues, and I'm like, oh, sweet, this is better. This is probably the best thing I read. And then at the end, I figured out this is literally one of his best storytellings ever so far.
Right. Yeah. So Black Hammer still going on, still going strong. It is Age of Doom, and that's back to the
Yes.
normal kind of story he's telling.
Mhm.
And then I think I saw, and I'm gonna quickly Google this. I think there's another mini series coming out called like Quantum something. Let me double check that. Quantum Age. So I think that one takes place. It's another mini series. It's called Quantum Age from the World of Black Hammer. So that will be coming out. Actually, I guess it already might have already come out.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I have to look that one up because, I mean,
I'll have to look up if you read that first or if you read Age of Doom first.
yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for Age of Doom to download at this point. Because I'm like on Comixology going, come on!
Do it.
I'm so, yeah. And Essex County as well. So it's like I want to say it's like a 92% on. And we just finished Essex County. So I should be getting to Age of Doom soon.
Yeah, and I'll say like this is like my highest recommendation I think possible. I feel like I'm pretty good if I pick a format, I kind of stick to it, but I'm gonna definitely keep reading these digitally as they come out because I have to know what happens. But I'm also picking up that fat library edition when it drops. Double dipping.
Well, I figured I only do that with Dr. Star and the what is it, Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows. That's probably the one I will pick up a hard copy for.
Yeah, and I'm hoping since I know the first library edition, I think it's the first two trades basically of Black Hammer. I'm hoping they do another like hardcover
The World of Black Hammer
with like the mini series collected. That'd be kind of cool.
It would be cool.
Anywho, I'm sorry if we just ruined that story for you. I think we gave adequate warning.
Yeah,
but
we did. I said spoiler alert a lot.
Cathartic.
Yeah. So even if we spoiled it, it's all right to go read it because we left a bunch of stuff out with this one.
Right.
I think at least I think I did. We just gave up the ending and the first part, but still, it's more about it's not about the ending. It's more about the journey to the ending. And that's where you get the real emotion from Dr. Star and all that stuff. So definitely check this one out. Even if you are just starting out reading that, this would be a good one to jump into.
Agreed. Do we have anything? I mean, so Jeff Lemire's written a ton of stuff. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Not so much. I just started reading the Jeff Lemire Hawkeye today.
Oh yeah, cool.
I didn't know he actually did Hawkeye, but it looks pretty interesting so far.
Yeah, his is a good companion to Fractions. It takes place basically right after, so that's cool. I need to finish it.
Yeah, you
do. his Moon Knight run is pretty good. I think personally, I think maybe his Marvel and DC work isn't as strong as his own stuff, which I feel like is probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But his
unknown stuff.
Yeah, his Moon Knight's really good. I've heard really good things about Old Man Logan. He had a long run on Old Man Logan, so I'd like to read that. And then he wrote Green Arrow for DC during the New 52, I think. So, and I've heard good things about that as well. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I loved the Green Arrow. I just kind of gave up after the New 52. It was just like a strange run for me on that one. So Jeff Lemire, I'm sorry if I didn't get to your Green Arrow, but I promise you, if it's as emotional as you did with Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows, I will pick it up again.
And then, so actually, I was just thinking, we haven't talked about his art at all. And I have to say, I have not read Sweet Tooth, which was his Vertigo series that he did art
Hmm.
and he wrote it. So that's one I would like to read. Um, but then I have read Essex County, which you said you're downloading right
Hmm.
now. That was kind of his first, I think, thing that kind of put him on the map. I liked it. It's very small town, small town in Canada, and I think he is Canadian, so that would make sense. Um,
I would love
and
to
it's
see
kind,
him write.
yeah, it's kind of slice of life, and it's good. I don't know if it's as strong as some of the other things I've read by him, but it's certainly worth reading, worth checking out.
Huh. That would be interesting. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. Essex County. I have not read Sweet Tooth, but I heard of it, and I do remember seeing it at the comic book shop way, way, way before I knew of him.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I judged the book by its cover because it had like a reindeer kid in the front with his horns, and I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna read that one. So I was like, I kind of
And
figured it was like a horror story.
yeah, and I think his art does take some getting used to. Like I think it worked for Essex County. Um, Sweet Tooth, I think it's interesting. I haven't read it obviously, but like you're saying, there's like a deer boy,
Yeah,
like some sort of I don't even know I don't know what's going on
yeah.
there. So like I feel like he draws like in Essex County, it's literally about like farmers in Canada. Like I can get behind his art there, but like I was like, oh, deer boy, interesting.
Deer boy, I honestly think it's like a deer boy eating people's teeth. That's what I thought it was when I first saw the cover. I'm definitely wrong. I know that, but I'm sorry for all those people who love that one, but I I just got freaked out by the cover.
Yeah, it's like it's been on my radar, like on my little Goodreads thing. I have like, you know, want to read. It's been on my want to read for a long time, and I just never. It's on
You never
Hoopla
read it.
too. I could read it right now, but I'm like, ah. Oh,
Well, you can put
okay.
it off.
So all of this, I was like trying to think of what I was talking about. So okay, his art. I knew I'd read something recently, but I was like, I it wasn't Essex County. He's another series for Image happening right now. It's called Royal City. He does the art and the writing on that, and it's another slice of life one. And basically, there's these siblings who are kind of all haunted by the death of their youngest brother, I believe. And you don't know at the start how he died. You kind of learn as you go. But they see their brother in different ways. Like the sister sees him as a little kid. Um, the the second youngest brother sees him as like his friend. They're like pretty close in age. The oldest brother sees him as like a middle school, maybe like young kid, but not like a really little kid. Anyways, really great. I wouldn't put it in the same sphere as Descender or Black Hammer, but it's the same, Jeff Lemire emotional.
Oh dang! I was just thinking that like, damn you,
Yeah,
Sean. If I read this and I start crying,
no, you
I'm
you
coming
should
for you.
check it out. I don't think it's as strong. I think it's wrapping up pretty soon. There's not that many issues. I think the first trade is like 5 issues, the second trade's like 2 issues, and I think it's finishing up in one more. So maybe like 15 issues or something like that. But um, I would check that out. I think it's probably the best I've seen his art. Because Essex County, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it's black and white. But with Royal City, he does like watercolors and stuff, which I think makes it look. I think it makes his art look better, personally. So yeah, Royal City, check that out. It's really good. I'd recommend it.
City, you say? I gotta write that down. I'll write it down later. I'm pretty sure I'll remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it more than Essex County, actually, which is probably heresy. I know a lot of people love Essex County, but I like Royal City more as far as slice of life Jeff Lemire
Mhm.
goes.
Uh, oh, geez. Essex County. Another. I figured this one's. I figured this one's gonna be a sad one too.
Yeah,
After
it's
putting
pretty
so
sad.
much praise.
Yeah.
No, damn you, McDaniel. Boy, Blue, you're killing me. I feel like every story from Jeff Lemire, and now it's gonna get like emotionally evolved to it, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. I love when I could relate to a character, and if they make me cry, the better. That means it's like an amazing story.
Right.
But Jeff Lemire, man, I feel like it's just gonna be tears upon tears after everything I read.
That's what you
Yeah,
want, though.
yeah, it is. It really is. But I'm like, I just read Doctor Star, and now I gotta cry again.
You got to take a break with like I don't know something else in there,
Oh, something cheerful like what was it?
like Vagabond.
Yeah, yeah, something cheerful like that with a bunch of blood and gore.
Yeah.
I'll read some Deadpool. I mean, that's always
No,
happy and cheery.
well, do you have any closing thoughts? I feel like that was a good discussion, primarily probably a Black Hammer, but
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of what I want to do
Hmm.
because it's so good.
It is, and and so Jeff Lemire is great at creating all these characters, interlocking his universe into one big, nice pile of emotion. But Dr. Sherlock Frankenstein, I feel like I agree with you. It wasn't as like on par with Dr. Star or Black Hammer. It's just like the little brother of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of it, um, like I think it's Dean Ormstum. I think that's the
Hmm.
artist's name for the main Black Hammer series. Loved his art. I liked the art in um Doctor Star, and I
Hmm.
can't think of the guy's name at the moment, but uh, it wasn't that the Sherlock Frankenstein art was bad. It was good and it kind of worked.
Hmm.
It's a similar look. Maybe it's the colors. I feel like it was just
Yeah,
like very bright, and I don't know, somehow like Black Hammer, it's like the colors are very muted and it seems very somber. Um,
yeah,
and then Sherlock Frankenstein, it was like a different story, probably a little lighter, so maybe that's why the brighter colors. But to me, it doesn't quite fit in, and I guess I didn't feel like I needed to know what
yeah.
the Black Hammer's daughter was doing in her investigation.
Investigating. Yeah.
Yeah, it was enough to know that she was doing it. Like we get that from the
Hmm.
first like issue. I think it shows her at the
Yeah,
end like investigating. So I don't know. It was okay. I
yeah.
don't think it added much.
It added a little, in my opinion, because I do think what Golden, the Golden
Golden
Girl,
Gale.
yeah,
Yeah.
Golden Gale. Sorry, she. I don't remember if she said she had a relationship with
Sherlock Frankenstein.
Doctor, yeah, Doctor
Yeah.
Sherlock Frankenstein in it. I'm pretty sure they did just like do a little touch on it, but this alone just made me feel like, oh hey, they had a little romance between good and evil going on right now. I
Yeah,
thought I like that part at least.
it just felt like it wasn't focused on him
Mhm.
that much, and maybe we'll get more answers, but like by the end it's like her like convincing him to like help her, right? Like he's
Yeah,
like giving up on ever finding Gail, and then she's like, no, you can do it, we can do it
yeah,
together, and
with
I'll
the
find my
power of
dad.
positivity.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
fine. I just like
mhm.
it's just not as strong
Yeah,
as some other stuff.
Yeah. Well, did this come before Doctor Star or after Doctor Star?
It came out before.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's just the middle child.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all I got to say about the amazing Jeff Lemire, which I can't wait to start Essex County and Royal. What is it? Royal City.
Yep. And then I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback, but his other current work, Gideon Falls, I
Mhm.
read the first issue and it is pretty spooky. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Pretty spooky
Pretty spooky. Jeff Lemire does horror.
with emotion.
With emotion, I'm sure there's
That's
emotion, yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna just add emotion to his name, like on
Jeff
great
Lemire
writers,
with
Jeff
emotion.
Lemire, emotions.
Yeah. It's like Tom King. Emotions repeats himself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Uh, I'm looking at Sherlock Holmes on my DVD. Then I think of Doctor Sherlock Frankenstein. I don't know why I just mentioned that. It just like pops out right now.
fair enough. All right.
Yeah,
So I think that concludes the discussion. Next episode, I believe, is
special
our
episode.
our
Another
BoJack
one.
Horseman.
Horsing around. Ah, that's the title.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about BoJack and why, if you're not watching it, you're a fool.
And you should watch it.
I mean, there's gonna be spoilers for that too because we're gonna be prepping for season 5, which means I should probably go watch the first
One
few
through four.
seasons here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta refresh my noggin. See, that's like a simple weekend for us. Like, yeah, I get through with it like that. All right, guys. Next time, horsing around.
Thank you for listening.
Like, subscribe, comment, and tell your
Have a good
friends.
day. Oh yeah, do
Download
that
Hoopla.
too. Yeah.
And this is Bigby and
Boy Blue.
signing off.